Hi, everybody. Story 5, Episode 13, End Part 2, Living Aboard with Chihuahuas. Beginning Part 2, Living Aboard with Chihuahuas.
Easy for you to say.
Humans are much more complex. Dogs have these large chunks of genetic regions that determine what genes are inherited. Human beings have many thousands of genetic variables. Ciao.
Dogs have these large chunks of genetic regions that determine what genes are inherited. Human beings may have many thousand of genetic variables. Selective breeding began 5,000 years ago. Dogs were bred for specific purposes and needs of people. Some people needed dogs to help with hunting or protection or herding or rodent eradication, or were used as signs of wealth. And let's not forget that many dogs bred to love the water. The variety of traits people looked for in a dog when they bred them led to faster than normal evolutionary changes in the canine species.
Wow.
The result of selective breeding is a species that shows changes that are bigger and more varied than would have happened with natural selection. It's believed that the selective dog breeding began about 5,000 years ago to help people and allow their daily chores to be easier. This helped to make dogs the companion of man. Dogs would then benefit from advances humans would make over the centuries and would also suffer detriments from inbreeding due to high demands of certain breeds.
Oh no!
There are about 8 million dogs in the UK. The population of dogs as pets in the United States is about 50 million. Plus the wild dogs makes canines a very successful reproductive species. In comparison, the wolves, the dogs' ancestors, number approximately 150,000. Dogs' desire to adapt themselves to man's lifestyle and man's desire to take care of these animals and breed them for their specific traits has created easier breeding possibilities for dogs than if they were left to fend for themselves in the wild. Intensive breeding over 500 years has led to the variety of today's dogs.
Wow.
Dog genes and human genes are different. Charles Darwin, though, thought dogs were diverse because of a mixture of coyotes, wolves, and jackals.
I never.
But this thinking was well before DNA and genetic testing was available. Now DNA shows a proof positive trail that leads to the gray wolf, Canis lupus. Dogs split from the wolf 135,000 years ago.
We don't like
Throughout
you.
the centuries, people bred dogs for their abilities and skills that made them good at hunting and retrieving, like pointers, hounds, and retrievers. People wanted dogs to help get rid of vermin and rodents, and terriers became popular. People needed help from their canine companions to run down prey. The greyhounds were selectively bred. Some dogs were bred for their looks and used as a status of wealth. Human offsprings are a genetic mix of their parents. The genes are a result of the average of these inherited genes and determine a person's phenotype or physical makeup. Dogs were bred for their inherited characteristics and are determined by their interaction of multiple pairs of genes. Dog genes create a brand new mix of genes. Darwin has taught us that evolutionary changes come from successful reproductive traits based on the environmental conditions. Most species did not evolve randomly, but due to natural selection.
Hi, everybody. Story 5, Episode 13, End Part 2, Living Aboard with Chihuahuas. Dogs were bred for their inherited characteristics and are determined by the interaction of multiple pairs of genes. Dog genes create a brand new mix of genes. Darwin has taught us that evolutionary changes come from successful reproductive traits based on the environmental conditions. Ciao.